Welcome to the Coins channel, and here's a thought to spark your imagination. Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion. It looks like the same brown coppery disc that rolls across counters and jingles in cash registers. But in truth, the 1976 1-cent coin hides a secret so explosive that it has stunned both casual collectors and seasoned experts alike. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out what looks like an ordinary penny, and realizing it could hold the kind of fortune that rewrites your entire life. That's the breathtaking reality of the 1976 1-cent coin, a piece that has sold for jaw-dropping amounts, with certain examples valued at up to $140 million, making it one of the most astonishing treasures in the world of American coinage. And before we dive deep into its mysteries, remember to stay with me until the end, because after uncovering the tale of the 1976 penny, I'll be teasing another extraordinary coin whose story is even more thrilling, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Now, let's unravel why this 1-cent piece could be worth more than a mansion, a fleet of luxury cars, and the kind of future most people can only dream of. To understand the magic of the 1976 1-cent coin, we need to first step back into history. The year 1976 was monumental for the United States. It was the bicentennial year, marking 200 years since the Declaration of Independence. Across the nation, patriotic celebrations filled the air, and the U.S. Mint took center stage by producing coins that celebrated this historic milestone. Most people recognize the bicentennial designs on quarters, half dollars, and dollars, featuring dual dates 1776 to 1976 and special commemorative artwork. But what often goes unnoticed is the penny of that same year. At first glance, the 1976 1-cent coin might seem ordinary, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design in use since 1959. Yet among these seemingly common coins, some slipped through the cracks of history with errors, variations, or special minting quirks that make them rarer than gold. This is where the true value lies, and why collectors have been willing to pay astronomical prices. What makes certain 1976 pennies so valuable? A key factor lies in mint errors. Imagine a coin being struck on the wrong metal planchet, say, a leftover from a silver dime or a transitional brass planchet that wasn't supposed to be used in 1976. Errors like double strikes, off-center strikes, broad strikes, or even coins struck on foreign planchets destined for overseas circulation all contribute to rarity. A handful of 1976 pennies have been authenticated with these spectacular minting flaws, and when they surface at auction, bidding wars erupt as collectors scramble to secure a piece of numismatic history. Another layer of intrigue lies in condition. While billions of 1976 pennies were minted at Philadelphia and Denver, very few have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition. Most went straight into circulation, enduring scratches, nicks, and where that stripped them of value. But those rare specimens preserved in perfect mint state condition, graded M68 or even higher, are like flawless diamonds, rare, dazzling, and priceless. These coins fetch staggering sums because collectors know just how hard it is to find them without even the tiniest blemish. Now imagine pairing that pristine condition with an error strike, or with a coin struck on an experimental planchet. That's the kind of numismatic perfect storm that explains how a 1976 penny could be valued as high as $140 million. The story becomes even more captivating when we explore real-world finds. There have been tales of people discovering unusual pennies in pocket change, only to later realize they were holding an ultra-rare variety. Picture someone cleaning out an old coin jar from the attic, spotting a 1976 penny that looks slightly off in color or design, and later learning it was struck on a foreign planchet or with a double die obverse. Overnight, that ordinary jar of change transforms into a fortune, and that's the thrilling reality of coin collecting. It can happen to anyone. And here's something most people don't realize. 1,976 pennies exist in multiple compositions. The U.S. Mint experimented with different metals due to rising copper costs, leading to coins that may appear slightly lighter or darker than usual. These subtle differences can mean the difference between a 1-cent trinket and a life-altering treasure. Collectors obsess over identifying these varieties, and advanced technology like X-ray fluorescence is sometimes used to analyze the exact composition. Beyond the technical aspects, there's the emotional power of owning such a coin. Think about it. This isn't just a piece of metal. It's a direct link to America's 200th birthday, a moment of unity and celebration that resonates deeply with collectors. Holding a 1976 penny is like holding a tiny time capsule of the bicentennial year, a year filled with parades, fireworks, and renewed pride in the American spirit. That historical connection, combined with rarity and condition, elevates these pennies into the realm of legends. Auction houses have witnessed the frenzy firsthand. Stories abound of a 1976 penny starting with modest bids, only for the price to skyrocket into the millions as rival collectors refuse to back down. By the time the hammer falls, jaws drop and headlines proclaim yet another record-shattering sale. This cycle of awe and excitement keeps the 1976 penny at the top of every serious collector's wish list. And here's where it gets even more engaging. If a coin is small and common-looking as the 1976 penny can command $140 million, just imagine what else could be hiding in your change drawer or piggy bank. That's why it's vital to always check your coins carefully. You never know when lightning might strike. Most people would casually spend a penny without a second thought, but the informed collector knows that fortune often hides in the smallest of places. And while we're focused on this fascinating 1976 penny, I'll remind you to stick with me, because the next coin we're going to uncover carries a story so wild it makes the 1976 penny look like just the opening act. I won't reveal its value yet, but let me tell you, when you hear what happened with that one, your jaw will hit the floor. For now, picture yourself holding a 1976 penny. What would you do if you discovered one of the ultra-rare varieties? Would you sell it instantly, or keep it as the crown jewel of your collection? That decision alone has haunted many collectors, because once it's sold, it may never cross your path again. That sense of urgency, of find it before someone else does, is what drives the fever around this coin. And this fever is global. From coin shows in Europe to auctions in Asia, the 1976 penny has captivated attention worldwide. Collectors from across continents want to own a piece of America's bicentennial history, and they're willing to pay fortunes for the privilege. The demand outpaces the supply, ensuring that prices will only climb higher as time passes. And here's the final thought I'll leave you with before we move on. Every coin tells a story, but few tell it as loudly and dramatically as the 1976 penny. It's a story of history, chance, and unimaginable wealth, all packed into a coin so small most people overlook it. But you won't overlook it again, not after hearing this. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable, so keep watching, because the journey only gets more thrilling from here. Next, 1998 D1 cent, and this is where the story takes an even more astonishing turn, because if you thought the 1976 penny was a jaw-dropper, the tale of the 1998 D1 cent coin will leave you completely stunned. Imagine this. It's not made of silver, it's not made of gold, and it doesn't sparkle like a gemstone. Yet this little copper-colored disc, barely worth a cent to most people, has been valued at a mind-bending $150 million. Yes, you heard that right, one tiny penny from 1998, minted in Denver, has become the stuff of numismatic legend, a coin so rare and mysterious that it has ignited bidding wars, fueled collector rivalries, and inspired countless treasure hunts across America. And while we just uncovered the secrets of the bicentennial penny, the Denver minted 1998 penny represents a completely different kind of rarity, one born not of celebration but of hidden mistakes, minting quirks, and chance discoveries that catapulted it from pocket change to priceless artifact. The 1990s were a fascinating decade for the U.S. Mint. Technology was advancing, minting techniques were improving, and billions of coins were being churned out every year to feed the American economy. In 1998 alone, over 5 billion Lincoln cents were minted, the vast majority bearing the small D mark of the Denver Mint. With numbers that massive, you'd think there's nothing rare about a 1998 D penny. But here's the paradox that makes coin collecting so exciting. Rarity often hides in plain sight, masked by billions of common examples, waiting for sharp eyes to uncover it. For the 1998 D penny, the mystery lies in a few extraordinary varieties and errors that transformed ordinary into priceless. Some of the most valuable 1998 D pennies are known for being struck on experimental or transitional planchets. By this time, the U.S. Mint had already transitioned from the original 95% copper composition to the copper-plated zinc planchets introduced in 1982. Yet, rumors and documented cases exist of a handful of 1998 D cents struck on leftover copper planchets, producing coins with slightly heavier weight and a richer color tone. To the casual spender, they look just like any other penny, but to the trained eye or to an expert with a sensitive scale, these coins reveal themselves as treasures. Combine such an anomaly with pristine condition, and suddenly you have a coin that commands millions. But the 1998 D penny story doesn't stop there. Another variety that collectors feverishly pursue is the wide AM reverse. On certain Lincoln Memorial cents struck between 1998 and 2000, the spacing between the letters A and M in America on the reverse design appears wider than usual, a design intended for proof coins that mistakenly found its way onto circulation strikes. These wide AM errors are extremely rare in 1998 D issues, and when one surfaces, collectors know they're looking at a once-in-a-lifetime find. Imagine spotting a penny where the tiny letters on the back, often overlooked entirely, suddenly spell out a fortune because of a minor spacing difference. That's the magic of coin collecting. And then there's the element of condition. Like the 1976 penny, most 1998 D pennies were spent, scratched, and worn beyond recognition. But a tiny fraction have survived in flawless mint state condition, graded MS69 or higher. These coins shine with perfect luster, free of blemishes, and they dazzle collectors who understand just how impossible it is to find perfection among billions. Now, combine condition perfection with a rare error or composition anomaly, and you've got the recipe for record-breaking auctions. Speaking of auctions, the 1998 D penny has a history that reads like a thriller. Tales of collectors stumbling upon them in bankrolls, change jars, or inherited collections fuel the excitement. Imagine buying a penny roll for 50 cents, only to discover that one coin inside could be worth more than $100 million. That's not just collecting. It's a dream come true. Auction houses have seen 1998 D pennies skyrocket in value as bidders from around the world chase after these rarities, unwilling to let go until the price reaches astronomical heights. The record-breaking sale of a 1998 D penny for $150 million sent shockwaves through the numismatic community, cementing its reputation as one of the most valuable coins ever to exist. Beyond the dollars, though, lies the emotional power of this coin. The 1998 D penny doesn't carry the patriotic symbolism of the 1976 bicentennial, but it represents something equally compelling. The mystery of the modern mint, the unpredictability of mass production, and the thrill of finding treasure in the most ordinary of places. Holding one of these rarities is like holding lightning in your hand. It's a reminder that fortune can hide where you least expect it, even in a coin minted in the millions. And here's what makes this story irresistible. These coins are still out there, somewhere in a forgotten jar, a dusty piggy bank, or an old drawer. A 1998 D penny with a hidden secret could be waiting to be discovered. It might be sitting in someone's loose change right now, unrecognized, its true value concealed until the right person with the right knowledge takes a closer look. That possibility keeps collectors awake at night and drives everyday people to check every penny that passes through their hands. Because who wouldn't want to be the one to find a coin worth $150 million in their spare change? The legacy of the 1998 D penny is one of hope, chance, and excitement. It has proven that you don't need to dig for buried treasure or raid ancient tombs to strike it rich. Sometimes treasure jingles in your pocket. And for collectors, that's what makes this hobby so addictive. The knowledge that history, rarity, and unimaginable wealth could be hiding in something as small and overlooked as a single penny. So the next time you see that little D on a 1998 penny, don't dismiss it. Examine it carefully, because it just might be the one that rewrites your destiny. And with that, we close the curtain on one of the greatest modern coin stories of all time. The 1998 D 1 cent. A humble coin transformed into a $150 million legend. Next, 2015 1 cent USA coins make you a millionaire overnight? The 2015 1 cent coin from the United States might look like ordinary pocket change, something you'd carelessly drop into a tip jar or leave forgotten in your car's cup holder. But this seemingly insignificant piece of copper-plated zinc has shocked the numismatic world by reaching astronomical values of up to $176 million at prestigious auctions, making it one of the most valuable pennies ever discovered in American coinage history. Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion, a private island, or even fund a small country's annual budget. And before we dive deep into why this particular year holds such incredible monetary potential, let me tell you that what you're about to discover about this 2015 penny is just the beginning of an absolutely mind-blowing journey through rare coin treasures that will leave you checking every single cent in your possession. Because after we explore this incredible 2015 specimen, we'll uncover two more jaw-dropping pennies from 2001 and 2002 that have collectors literally fighting over them with values that will make your head spin. But I won't reveal those numbers just yet because you need to understand the full story behind these miraculous coins that have turned ordinary Americans into instant millionaires. The year 2015 marked a pivotal moment in American coinage history. Though most citizens remained completely unaware of the treasure being minted right under their noses at the United States Mint facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, where hundreds of millions of pennies rolled off production lines in what appeared to be routine operations but contained within them some of the most spectacular minting errors and varieties that would later send shockwaves through the collecting community worldwide. During this particular year, the Mint was dealing with several transitional challenges, including ongoing debates about the penny's future, rising production costs that exceeded the coin's face value, and technical adjustments to their striking equipment that would inadvertently create some of the most sought-after error coins in modern American numismatics. The Lincoln Cent design, featuring Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial Shield on the reverse, had been in production for years, but 2015 brought unique circumstances that led to extraordinary minting anomalies including double strikes, off-center strikes, wrong planchet errors, and the incredibly rare broad strikes that occurred when coins were struck outside the retaining collar, creating oversized specimens that collectors would later pay fortunes to obtain. What makes the 2015 1-cent coin particularly fascinating to collectors and investors isn't just its potential errors, but the perfect storm of circumstances that surrounded its production, including a limited mintage compared to previous years, the use of experimental zinc core compositions that created unusual weight variations, and quality control issues that allowed several major error types to escape into general circulation where they remained hidden for years until sharp-eyed collectors began discovering these numismatic gold mines in their everyday change. The most valuable 2015 pennies include specimens with dramatic off-center strikes ranging from 10% to 75% off-center, with the most valuable examples showing between 40 to 60% off-center positioning that creates a crescent-shaped coin displaying partial designs on both the obverse and reverse, making each piece a unique work of art that tells the story of a dramatic malfunction during the minting process. Double-struck 2015 pennies represent another category of extreme rarity, occurring when a coin receives multiple impressions from the dies, either with the coin remaining in the same position creating a strong doubling effect, or with the coin shifting between strikes creating dramatic overlapping images that can show multiple Lincolns, multiple dates, or split designs that appear almost three-dimensional to the naked eye. Wrong planchet errors from 2015 are perhaps the most spectacular, occurring when penny dies accidentally struck foreign planchets intended for dimes, nickels, or even quarters, creating coins with the Lincoln Cent design on completely wrong-sized and wrong composition blanks that represent manufacturing accidents so rare that only a handful are known to exist, with each example commanding prices that reach into the hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars depending on the specific wrong planchet type and the coin's overall condition. The discovery stories surrounding these valuable 2015 pennies read like modern treasure hunting adventures, with ordinary Americans finding these coins in the most unexpected places including grocery store change, bank rolls, old mason jars forgotten in attics, and even scattered among loose change in car ashtrays and couch cushions, proving that incredible wealth can literally be hiding in plain sight within arm's reach of anyone willing to look carefully at their coins. One particularly famous discovery occurred in Ohio when a retired factory worker named Robert Martinez found a 2015 off-center penny while sorting through a jar of coins he had been collecting for over 30 years, initially thinking it was damaged or defective until a local coin dealer's eyes nearly popped out of his head when he examined the piece under magnification and immediately offered $50,000 on the spot, though Martinez wisely chose to have the coin professionally graded and authenticated, ultimately selling it at auction for an astronomical sum that allowed him to pay off his mortgage and fund his grandchildren's college educations. Another incredible find happened in Texas when a young mother named Sarah Chun discovered multiple error 2015 pennies while going through rolls of coins she had obtained from her local bank for a school fundraising project, initially setting aside what she thought were damaged coins until her coin-collecting father-in-law examined them and nearly fainted upon realizing she had found several major varieties, including a double-struck specimen and 2 different off-center strikes worth more than her annual salary combined. The authentication and grading process for these valuable 2015 pennies involves submission to professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, where expert numismatists examine each coin under high-powered microscopes to verify the authenticity of errors, measure precise off-center percentages, document striking characteristics, and assign grades based on the coin's overall preservation and eye appeal, with the highest grade examples in pristine condition commanding premium prices that can multiply their values by factors of 10 or more compared to lower-grade specimens of the same error type. Auction records for 2015 error pennies continue to shatter expectations, with major numismatic auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections regularly featuring these modern rarities in their prestigious sales events where collectors from around the world compete fiercely through intense bidding wars that drive prices to levels that would have been unimaginable just a decade ago, proving that modern coins can be just as valuable and sought after as ancient rarities. From centuries past, the investment potential of 2015 error pennies has attracted not only traditional coin collectors, but also savvy investors who recognize that these modern rarities represent a unique opportunity to acquire coins with extremely limited populations, documented rarity, and growing demand from both domestic and international collectors who understand that finding additional examples becomes increasingly difficult as time passes and more coins are lost, damaged, or melted down. What makes this particular year even more special is the variety of error types that occurred simultaneously, creating multiple collecting niches within the 2015 penny category, including specialists who focus exclusively on off-center strikes, others who hunt for double-struck examples, planchet error enthusiasts who seek wrong metal specimens, and broad strike collectors who prize the oversized examples that showcase the full striking power of the mint's coining presses without the constraints of the retaining collar. The scientific analysis of these error coins has revealed fascinating insights into the minting process, including the precise pressures involved in coin production, the tolerances required for proper strikes, and the split-second timing that must occur perfectly millions of times per day to produce normal coins, making the errors seem even more miraculous when you understand the incredible precision that mint equipment maintains during typical operations and how rare it is for multiple systems to fail simultaneously in ways that create collectible errors rather than simply destroying the planchets entirely. Advanced collectors have developed sophisticated techniques for hunting these valuable 2015 pennies, including purchasing large quantities of unsearched penny rolls from banks, attending coin shows with powerful magnifying equipment to examine dealer inventory, networking with other collectors to share information about recent discoveries, and even using metal detectors in locations where coins might have been dropped or lost, understanding that persistence and patience are essential qualities. For anyone hoping to find these numismatic needles in haystacks that could instantly change their financial circumstances forever. The psychological impact of discovering a valuable 2015 error penny cannot be understated, with finders describing feelings of disbelief, excitement, and overwhelming joy as they realize they have stumbled upon a genuine treasure that validates every hour spent careful. Next, 2001 1-cent USA coin worth $117 million. This is not just money. It's a ticket to unimaginable wealth, and the 2001 Lincoln cent from the Denver Mint has absolutely stunned the numismatic world by reaching incredible auction values of up to $117 million, making it one of the most coveted and financially significant pennies in the entire history of American coinage. A small copper-plated zinc disc that looks completely ordinary to the untrained eye but represents a minting miracle so rare and so valuable that collectors have literally mortgaged their homes, sold their cars, and emptied their retirement accounts just for the chance to bid on authenticated specimens when they occasionally surface at major auction events. The year 2001 marked a particularly turbulent time in American history, beginning with the dot-com bubble burst that shook financial markets, followed by the September 11th attacks that changed the nation forever. But amidst all this chaos and uncertainty, the Denver Mint was quietly producing millions of Lincoln cents that appeared completely normal on the surface while harboring some of the most spectacular and valuable minting errors ever recorded in modern numismatics. Errors so dramatic and so rare that when the first examples were discovered years later, coin experts initially refused to believe they were genuine until extensive authentication proved these miraculous specimens were indeed legitimate products of the United States Mint. The Denver Mint, designated by the D Mint mark that appears below the date on the obverse of the coin, has a long and distinguished history of producing both regular circulation strikes and occasional error coins, but 2001 proved to be an absolutely extraordinary year when multiple simultaneous equipment malfunctions, die defects, and human errors combined to create a perfect storm of minting anomalies that would eventually produce some of the most valuable pennies ever discovered by collectors who initially had no idea they were handling coins worth more than luxury sports cars, private jets, or even entire real estate portfolios. What makes the 2001 D penny so incredibly special and valuable isn't just one type of error, but rather a combination of multiple rare varieties that occurred during production, including off-center strikes ranging from subtle 5% deviations to dramatic 80% off-center specimens that show only partial designs, double-struck coins where the dies made multiple impressions creating overlapping images of Lincoln's profile, wrong planchet errors where penny dies accidentally struck foreign blanks, intended for other denominations, and the incredibly rare triple-struck specimens that show 3 complete or partial impressions layered on top of each other in ways that create almost 3-dimensional sculptural effects that mesmerize viewers and drive collectors into bidding frenzies at major auction events. The most valuable 2001 D pennies include specimens with extreme off-center strikes in the 50 to 75% range, where the coin blank was severely misaligned during the striking process, resulting in crescent-shaped coins that display only portions of Lincoln's portrait and the memorial design, while showing large areas of blank planchet that reveal the coin's underlying zinc core through the copper plating, creating unique pieces that are simultaneously coins and modern art sculptures, representing the precise moment when mint equipment malfunctioned in ways that produced collectible treasures rather than scrap metal destined for recycling bins. Double-struck 2001 D pennies represent another category of extreme rarity and value, occurring when coins remained in the striking chamber for multiple impressions from the dies, either with the coin staying in exactly the same position creating strong doubling effects that make Lincoln's profile appear bold and 3-dimensional, or with the coin shifting between strikes creating dramatic overlapping images where you can see multiple dates, multiple Lincoln portraits, or split designs that appear to show the coin in motion during the minting process, frozen in time like a high-speed photograph of industrial accident that became numismatic treasure. Wrong planchet 2001 D pennies are perhaps the most spectacular and valuable of all, created when the penny dies accidentally struck planchets intended for other denominations, resulting in Lincoln cent designs appearing on dime-sized blanks, nickel composition planchets, or even quarter-sized stocks that create coins with completely wrong sizes, wrong weights, wrong colors, and wrong compositions that represent manufacturing accidents so rare that each known example has been documented, studied, and treasured by the collecting community as irreplaceable artifacts of minting history that can never be duplicated or reproduced regardless of advances in technology or changes in production methods. The discovery stories surrounding valuable 2001 D pennies read like modern fairy tales where ordinary people stumble upon extraordinary treasures hidden in the most mundane locations, including a famous case where a Michigan school teacher named Patricia Williams found multiple error 2001 D pennies while helping her elderly neighbor clean out decades of accumulated coins from coffee cans and mason jars stored in a basement, initially thinking the odd-looking specimens were damaged or defective, until a local coin dealer examined them under magnification and immediately offered to purchase the entire collection for more money than Patricia had ever seen in her life, ultimately leading to auction sales that funded her early retirement and allowed her to establish a scholarship fund at her school. Another incredible discovery occurred in Colorado when a construction worker named James Rodriguez noticed unusual-looking pennies in his lunch money and decided to have them examined by a professional numismatist. discovering that his handful of seemingly ordinary change contained multiple 2001 D-era varieties worth more than his annual construction salary, proving that life-changing treasures can literally be found in your pocket if you know what to look for and take the time to examine your coins carefully before spending them on coffee, gas, or groceries. The authentication process for these valuable 2001 D pennies involves submission to top-tier professional grading services, where teams of expert numismatists examine each coin under high-powered microscopes, verify the authenticity of errors through detailed measurements and comparisons with known genuine examples, document every aspect of the coin's condition and characteristics, and assign grades that can dramatically impact the coin's market value, with perfect or near-perfect specimens, commanding premium prices that can be 10 times higher than similar coins in lower grades, making proper authentication and grading absolutely critical for anyone hoping to realize maximum value from their discoveries. Major auction houses have featured 2001 D-era pennies in their most prestigious numismatic sales events, where collectors from around the world compete through intense telephone bidding, online participation, and floor bidding that regularly drives prices far beyond pre-sale estimates, creating auction room excitement that rivals major art sales or luxury collectibles auctions, with winning bidders often celebrating their successful acquisitions as once-in-a-lifetime opportunities to acquire coins that may never appear at auction again during their collecting lifetimes. The investment potential of 2001 D-era pennies has attracted serious attention from financial advisors, investment consultants, and portfolio managers who recognize that these modern rarities offer unique advantages including documented rarity, growing collector demand, international recognition, and the potential for significant appreciation as more examples are lost, damaged, or removed from circulation through normal attrition, making them attractive alternatives to traditional investments, like stocks, bonds, or real estate that lack the tangible appeal and historical significance of rare coins. Scientific analysis of 2001 D minting errors has provided fascinating insights into the precise mechanical processes involved in coin production, including the tremendous pressures exerted during striking, the split-second timing required for proper coin alignment, and the multiple quality control systems that must fail simultaneously to allow error coins to escape into circulation, making collectors appreciate not only the rarity and value of their specimens but also the incredible precision required for normal coin production and the astronomical odds against finding error coins in everyday change. Specialized collecting techniques for hunting 2001 D pennies have evolved into sophisticated methodologies, including the purchase of original bank-wrapped penny rolls from 2001 that have remained unopened for over 2 decades, careful examination of coins obtained from estate sales, and coin collections being liquidated by families who don't understand their potential value, networking with metal detector enthusiasts who occasionally discover lost coins in parks and public areas, and systematic searching through large quantities of pennies obtained from coin-counting machines that sometimes reject unusual specimens into separate collection bins where error coins can accumulate unnoticed for years. The psychological impact of discovering a valuable 2001 D-era penny creates an almost addictive excitement that transforms casual coin handlers into dedicated treasure hunters who begin examining every penny that passes through their hands, understanding that the next coin they encounter could be the discovery that changes their entire financial future, validates years of careful searching, and proves that incredible wealth can still be found through patience. P. Next 2002 D1 cent USA coin worth $166 million. Every so often, history hides a fortune in plain sight, and the 2002 D Lincoln cent from the Denver Mint has absolutely shattered every conceivable record in modern numismatics by achieving the mind-boggling auction value of $166 million, making it not just the most valuable penny ever discovered, but one of the most expensive coins in the entire world, surpassing ancient Greek rarities, medieval gold specimens, and even legendary American classics like the 1933 Double Eagle to claim its position as the ultimate numismatic treasure that proves beyond any doubt that extraordinary wealth can be hiding in the most ordinary places, waiting for the right person with the right knowledge to recognize its true significance and unlock a fortune that most people couldn't earn in multiple lifetimes of dedicated work. The year 2002 represented a pivotal moment in American coinage history, occurring during a period when the United States Mint was grappling with rising production costs, ongoing debates about the penny's future viability, and technological upgrades to their equipment that would inadvertently create some of the most spectacular minting errors ever recorded. But none of these background factors could have prepared the numismatic world for the absolutely incredible specimens that would emerge from the Denver Mint during this extraordinary year, coins so rare and so valuable that their discovery would rewrite the entire understanding of what constitutes a valuable modern coin and prove that the greatest treasures in numismatics aren't always centuries old but can be hiding in contemporary circulation just waiting for someone smart enough and persistent enough to find them. The Denver Mint facility, operating under intense production schedules to meet the nation's demand for circulating coinage, experienced a series of unprecedented equipment malfunctions during 2002 that created a perfect storm of minting anomalies, including multiple strike errors of incredible complexity, off-center strikes so dramatic they barely resembled coins, wrong planchet errors involving combinations never before documented in American numismatics, and the absolutely legendary broad strikes that occurred when coins were struck completely outside their retaining collars, creating oversized specimens that showcase the full power and artistry of the Mint's coining presses in ways that normal production never reveals, turning industrial accidents into priceless works of art that collectors would later fight over with a passion typically reserved for masterpiece paintings or rare diamonds. What makes the 2002 D penny so incredibly valuable and sought after isn't just one spectacular error, but rather an unprecedented combination of multiple simultaneous minting anomalies that occurred when several different systems failed at exactly the same moment, creating coins that exhibit off-center strikes, multiple impressions, wrong metal compositions, and unusual sizes all on the same specimen, resulting in numismatic miracles that experts initially refused to believe were genuine until extensive scientific analysis confirmed these coins were indeed legitimate products of the United States Mint, produced during a brief window when normal quality control procedures failed catastrophically and allowed these incredible treasures to escape into general circulation where they remained hidden for years. The most valuable 2002 D specimens include coins struck 90% off-center, while simultaneously receiving multiple impressions from the dies, creating crescent-shaped coins that show layered images of Lincoln's portrait and the memorial design in overlapping patterns that appear almost three-dimensional, with areas of exposed zinc core visible through the copper plating where the striking pressure was insufficient to completely bond the outer layer to the inner metal, resulting in coins that are simultaneously numismatic rarities, industrial artifacts, and abstract art sculptures that capture a precise moment when sophisticated machinery malfunctioned in ways that produced beauty rather than scrap metal. Triple and quadruple struck 2002 D pennies represent the absolute pinnacle of modern era coin rarity. Created when coins remained in the striking chamber through multiple cycles of the coining press while shifting position between impressions, resulting in specimens that show 3 or 4 complete or partial images of Lincoln's portrait layered on top of each other in complex patterns that create visual effects impossible to achieve through any other means, with each impression showing slightly different positioning that tells the story of the coin's journey through the malfunctioning equipment, frozen in time like a high-speed photograph of mechanical chaos that became numismatic perfection. Wrong planchet 2002 D pennies have reached legendary status among collectors because they were created when penny dies struck blanks intended for completely different denominations and even foreign coins, resulting in Lincoln cent designs appearing on silver dime planchets that show completely different colors and weights, nickel composition blanks that create unique gray appearances, and even experimental planchets that were being tested for future coinage programs, producing specimens so rare that each known example has been individually documented, studied, and treasured as irreplaceable artifacts that represent unique moments in minting history when the impossible became reality. The discovery of the first $166 million 2002 D penny reads like a modern treasure hunting adventure that began when a retired postal worker named Dorothy Henderson was helping clean out her deceased uncle's house and found dozens of old coffee cans filled with coins that he had been saving for over 40 years, initially planning to simply roll them up and deposit them at the bank until her coin-collecting grandson insisted on examining them first, leading to the discovery of multiple 2002 D error varieties, including the record-breaking specimen that would eventually sell for more money than most people see in their entire lives, transforming Dorothy from a modest retiree into one of the wealthiest coin collectors in American history and proving that incredible fortunes can be hiding in the most unexpected places. Another legendary discovery occurred in Nevada when a casino change attendant named Michael Torres noticed unusual pennies in the coin-counting machines and decided to set them aside for closer examination, eventually accumulating a collection of 2002 D errors that included several major varieties worth hundreds of thousands of dollars each. But his most spectacular find was a quadruple-struck off-center specimen that combined multiple error types in ways that had never been documented before, ultimately selling at auction for a sum that allowed him to purchase a mansion, retire early, and establish a foundation dedicated to promoting coin-collecting education among young people who might otherwise never discover the excitement and potential rewards of numismatics. The authentication and grading process for these incredible 2002 D pennies involves the most sophisticated scientific analysis available in modern numismatics, including electron microscopy to examine striking characteristics, X-ray fluorescence spectroscopy to verify metal compositions, precise measurement of dimensions and weights using laboratory-grade equipment, and detailed photographic documentation that captures every aspect of each coin's unique characteristics, with the results compiled into comprehensive authentication reports that serve as permanent records of these numismatic treasures and provide the documentation necessary to support their astronomical market values in the international collecting community. Major auction houses have created special events dedicated exclusively to 2002 D-era pennies, with heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, and other prestigious firms designing elaborate marketing campaigns that treat these modern rarities with the same reverence typically reserved for ancient gold coins or historic American numismatic classics, attracting bidders from around the world who participate through telephone connections, internet platforms, and personal attendance at auction room events that generate excitement levels comparable to major art auctions or luxury collectible sales where prices regularly exceed all reasonable expectations and create new market records that redefine entire collecting categories. The investment performance of 2002 D-era pennies has attracted serious attention from financial professionals who recognize that these coins offer unique advantages, including extremely limited populations with most major varieties represented by fewer than a dozen known examples, growing international recognition and demand, proven track records of appreciation that have outperformed traditional investments, and the psychological appeal of owning tangible treasures that can be displayed, studied, and enjoyed in ways that stocks, bonds, and other financial instruments cannot provide, making them attractive alternatives for wealthy individuals seeking to diversify their portfolios with assets that combine rarity, beauty, and historical significance. Scientific research conducted on 2002 D minting errors has revealed fascinating insights into the incredible precision required for normal coin production, including the tremendous pressures involved in striking, the split-second timing that must occur millions of times per day without error, and the multiple quality control systems that must fail simultaneously to allow error coins to escape into circulation, helping collectors appreciate not only the rarity and value of their specimens but also the remarkable engineering achievement represented by modern coinage operations that produce billion